Hey guys, welcome back to the Bayer household. We're so excited to have you guys here today with some different content that we've brought you over the last couple of months. Our very first video that we shot, and if you scroll back in our timeline you'll see, was here in our house. And it was basically us just telling you who we are, what our plans are with Bayer Necessities, what it was going to look like, and telling you about some of the things we were going to get to experience this year. So now some of that has gone by, and we wanted to do something a little bit different this week to let you guys into our Disney minds.
Yeah, so we have gotten some requests to do different series, like best and worst, or our favorites, or our suggestions. And we thought this was a good time. We've given you a lot of park content, and I think we're going to do this series a little bit sporadically, so it won't be like the next 5 videos from now, but they'll kind of be hit and miss as we get requests for new things, and as we experience more things and have more to talk about, really. So today we're going to do one thing that is the very easiest for us, and that is our favorite attractions in each park, and we're also going to end it out with our least favorite in each park, which might get, a little bit of feedback there in the comments based on whether or not you agree. But before we go on, we did want to say a couple things about how this vlogging has gone so far.
Yeah, so one of the things that we have learned about ourselves is that we start every single clip with, alright, so.
Alright, so.
It's always, alright, so. Alright, so we just got off this. Alright, so we're headed over here. Alright, so we just ate.
We did this.
Yeah. So we're working on that. Yes. Know that we're working on it. A little bit in post-production, like we're cutting it off, but also we're trying our best not to start every clip with, alright, so. I can almost guarantee you it'll happen at least once in this video. Alright, so welcome back.
I know, for sure.
We're going to try to catch them, but we might not.
Yeah, and then we also realized that in trying to get you content and trying to learn how to vlog, I guess, we were getting a little too serious with our personalities. That's not really who we are. Yeah. So you'll see us make a concentrated effort to be a little bit more vulnerable and a little bit more fun, because that's who we are naturally, and that's who we are in the parks as well. And we just weren't showing it because, I'll be honest, it's mostly my fault. And I'm a little bit introverted, and so learning to talk to a camera and then learning to talk to a camera in a park while like 15 people are watching you and thinking you're looking like an idiot was a little hard for me to get over at the beginning. But I think we're kind of getting through that as we get some more experience. So keep watching. It's only going to get better from here.
So let's get into this. We're going to talk about our 2 favorite attractions and our least favorite attraction in every park. Here we go.
Our first stop is going to be in Magic Kingdom.
Of course.
Wonderful. I mean, where else could you start? So for Magic Kingdom, Matt, what are your top 2 favorite attractions?
All right, my number 1 favorite in Magic Kingdom is going to be Haunted Mansion. And I don't even know if I can articulate why very well, because this is a newfound love of mine. I've just lately grown really fond of Haunted Mansion. Everything from when you enter into the queue, all of the interactive stuff in the queue, and then once you get into the ride, the theming is all really great. It feels classic. It doesn't feel like it's super overly new and updated. So it feels a little bit classic to me. It's very well themed, well done. Everything about it. The song is catchy. You just come off of there feeling good. And so I love Haunted Mansion. And my number 2 favorite attraction in Magic Kingdom is going to be Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
I knew it.
I love that it's a shooting game, and so that part of it's really fun. And I really do feel when I enter that ride, between the animatronic Buzz giving you the pep talk and the cue to the different environments that you go through on the ride, I feel like I'm one of the Buzzes from Toy Story 2. Like, I feel like I haven't met the real Buzz yet, and like I'm just... feel like I'm part of the story, and I'm really fighting Emperor Zurg. So I absolutely love Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. What about you? What are your 2 favorites in Magic Kingdom?
So mine is really, really easy. Everyone who knows me knows that my favorite attraction, not just in Magic Kingdom, but in all of Disney World.
All of the regular world.
Is Peter Pan's Flight. It is so perfectly Disney. It's so magical. The experience. I love that they've redone the queue. That's fantastic.
That's really cool.
But even before that, it was my very favorite. I mean, who doesn't want to go through a story about a boy who never grows up, who has a fairy with pixie dust that can make you fly, who fights pirates and knows mermaids? Come on, like that is a magical, magical story. It transports you to somewhere else. I love that the ride vehicles hang from the ceiling instead of like your traditional dark ride. It's just so wonderful. I don't even know. I remember the first time that we went back. I think I cried when I was on it. It's the first time I'd ridden it in like 5 years, and I just like cried because I just love it so much.
Yeah.
It gives you, and those folks who don't love something, I think Disney don't quite understand, like that feeling it gives you when you are right in the middle of the magic. So hands down, my very favorite.
I can get with that. One of my favorite moments in Magic Kingdom is that perspective shift when you're going up over London in that ride. I just think that's amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
What about number 2?
Number 2, Space Mountain. Also a classic, but more on the thrill side. It's dark. You don't know what's coming. Even if you've ridden it 100 times, it's hard to remember all those little bumps back to back to back, and you start getting a little bit of air time, especially if you're toward the back. It's going to be great. And I love that the ride vehicles are singles.
Yeah.
That's
you like that because you're short.
Yeah, that's probably true. I have like all the leg room. But I think it's really fun. It's very different. It's always a good time. Always get off smiling. So it's one of my faves.
Cool.
Yep.
And now let's move on to least favorites. And this is where we're probably going to lose some of you. Don't unsubscribe just yet. Just hear us out. My least favorite attraction in Magic Kingdom would be the Country Bear Jamboree.
Oh, yeah.
So we went in to experience it again, to give it another shot recently.
We did.
And all I could think of the whole time we were in there was Lester's Possum Park from the Goofy movie.
Oh, my goodness.
Right? So, like, we're in there and, like, you kind of, like, the animatronics might break. Like, there's a chance. Everybody's like...
Everyone else is having a great time.
Oh, they're all like singing the songs and stuff. And then to bring it full circle, we watched a Goofy movie this week. And when they were at Lester's Possum Park, all I could think of was Country Bear Jamboree. It was just the exact same thing. And so, yeah, I understand the classic element. I love the bears. I love getting to encounter the bears out in the park. But the attraction just doesn't do anything for me. And I'm sorry for those of you who love it. It just does nothing for me. What about you?
Hey, it's air conditioned, so
I'll take it.
You get to sit down and it's air conditioned for 20 minutes. I'm down. All right, so my least favorite has nothing really to do with the attraction and more to do with me, but that's Astro Orbiter. No. I can ride Dumbo. I can ride Triceratops Spin, Aladdin's Magic Cart. I can do all that, but get me standing in that queue forever that's out in the sun, so you're like hot and it's muggy, and they stuff you in a muggy elevator and send
with
you
like 100 people.
With like 100 people, and then you're on there, take you even higher, and have a fear of heights, even higher, to spin around in a circle. Do you want to puke? No. Nope, I'm good without it. Everyone else can ride it. I'm staying on the ground.
I do like riding that at night because the environment in Tomorrowland is so cool.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But like, yeah,
not worth it. I feel sick the rest of the day. Not worth it at all. So let's go ahead and move on to Epcot.
Keisha, what are your favorite attractions in Epcot?
Well, my top favorite in Epcot would have to be Soarin' Around the World.
Yeah.
So I know there's some haters who really don't like the new video or like the CGI. I give it to you, like, unless you're sitting in the middle section, things can look off. Like, definitely there can be like some things that are leaning, like the Eiffel Tower and different landmarks. But still, I think that ride is really great, and it's really unlike a lot of other things in Disney World outside of Flight of Passage. So something so unique with the sights and the smells. I catch myself smiling like the whole time I'm riding it.
I like to ride it like Superman.
You do. You do, like when you're going through the clouds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100% of the time you'll catch him like this. But I think it's fun. Anytime that you're sitting on a ride, catch yourself smiling, you go off and you're happy, that's a good ride.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
A good ride.
Yep.
So... I love it.
Definitely. What's number 2?
Number 2, and I might get some flack for this one too, is the Seas with Nemo and Friends.
Yeah.
So we ride this every time we're at Epcot.
Never fails.
Never fails. We love it. If you haven't kind of realized, we are animal people, so we always duck in to see the sea turtles and the manatees and the sharks and everything that's going on in there. And the way that, we choose to get in there is through Nemo.
That's right.
So, and it's always like a short wait. Like,
an air-conditioned wait.
Very cold air-conditioned wait.
Yeah.
And so that's really, really nice. It's an omni-mover, so it gets you through relatively quickly. And I think it was nice that they used the tanks and what they already had going in that pavilion to kind of enhance what they were doing with the rides. So I really like it.
That's right. Who doesn't love walking out of there singing?
In a big blue world. We'll sing that all day.
All the time.
Yeah.
All right, so my favorite attractions in Epcot, and my number one is going to be Test Track. And I think that has a lot to do with my roots. My heritage is in Detroit, Michigan. That's where I lived until I was 17 years old. And so I grew up around the automotive industry. So I'm a big fan of the partnership with General Motors on that attraction. I think it's a lot of fun and cool to get to experience creating your own car and then driving your car and then getting to see some of the cool concept cars and things when you come out as you walk through like the gift shop area. I just love it, and even if you don't love that aspect of it, it's a fun ride. It is a lot of fun when you get out on the open road and you hit top speed. Everything about it is really, really fun. And then there's also the nostalgic piece for me. So when we're in Epcot, I love to take the time to ride Test Track when we can. And my number two is going to surprise some people. It's going to be the Pixar. It surprised
me, for sure.
The Pixar Short Film Festival. I absolutely love it. Some people don't think it's the best use of that space, and that's fine. You can think that. But I love everything about Pixar. Pixar is fun. Pixar is whimsical. It feels good. And getting to see some of those when you're in the park is just a lot of fun for me. And I think the thing that I like even more than getting to watch the 4 short films is the pre-show, when you get to watch some of the people who work at Pixar talk about what the short films mean to them. So for us, a lot of times we view it as like it's just another part of the previews. Like, oh, you watch the 8 previews, then your short film, and then your feature film when you go to the theaters. But for these people, it's a lot more than that. It is like their heart and soul is these short films. They love making these short films. And so getting to hear them talk about it and hear the passion in their voices when they talk about the short films is really, really cool to me. So I absolutely love the Pixar Short Film Festival. Keisha, what's your least favorite attraction in Epcot?
So we're considering an attraction. It's not a ride.
Yeah.
But over in the Canada Pavilion, there is a little film called Oh, Canada.
Oh,
Canada.
Yeah.
And it's a 360 viewing. Martin Short does a great job in there. Very, very funny.
Yeah.
And I think the film itself is very good.
Yep.
My problem, though, with the attraction lies in the fact that, and partially our fault, we go through World Showcase typically, like Mexico, all the way around and end up in Canada, coming back into Future World. And I don't know if anyone else has noticed or it's just my perception, there's not a ton of shade around the World Showcase. And if they're not running the boats through the lagoon that day, you got to go all the way around. So by the time you're like super hot and sweaty and it's humid and you drink like 5 watermelon slushies like all the way around.
And your legs are really tired.
Yeah, you kind of just like want to sit down in the air condition and take like a break. And so you're like, okay, so they have these great films like where I got to sit down in China and France and all these different places. Well, I'm going to run into this one in Canada. You would be wrong. You have to stand the entire time. They don't let you sit. If you start to sit down, they're like, oh, please stand up. And there's these railings, and you're lucky if you get one of those, or if you're short like me, it doesn't exactly hit you the place where you can lean. So it's a little bit awkward. So I would just love some seats in there.
Yeah.
So that's my least favorite.
Yeah. My least favorite in Epcot, it's going to surprise some of you, might make some of you angry, Journey into Imagination with Figment. So hear me out. I love Figment, the character, what he stands for, everything about him. I'm a Figment fan.
Yeah.
I don't love Journey into Imagination with Figment. I'm a creative person, and so I just think that we could be a little bit more creative with how we portray that to future generations and the people that come to visit Disney World. I think there's a lot of creativity and imagination missing from that ride. And I would love to see Figment used in a better way that better portrays what creativity and imagination could look like. I just feel like we're lacking there. It should be one of the freshest attractions always. Obviously, like, it's going to get dated at points, but like if we're promoting creativity and imagination and stuff, those things should always be evident to anyone who is coming to that attraction. And I don't think anyone feels that when they ride Journey into Imagination with Figment. So I think it's time for some change for Journey into Imagination. If you're like us, you are starting to feel like this video is getting really long. And we'll be honest, it took a lot longer to get it all out than we thought it was going to. So we're going to split this into 2 videos. But don't worry, you don't have to wait till next Thursday. We're going to put out the second half of this video on Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so you get to see the rest of that video. Also remember that next week we are going to be in the parks. We're really excited to share some stuff with you guys on Instagram while we're there. So make sure you follow us on Instagram at Bayer Necessities and watch for our stories and stuff. As always, like this video, comment down below with your favorite attraction in the 2 parks we've already talked about, and subscribe to the channel so the bare necessities of life will come to you. See you guys in the parks.